Charlie Kirk versus the cocky college anonymous race baiter. The showdown. Guys, this is going to be a good clip. I think you're going to like it. I'm not even going to spoil it. This guy is a bit wild, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. So we're going to get right into it. But first, do me a big favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. As always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and welcome back. Resist the mainstream.
Nice to meet you, Charlie. I'm a big fan. I think you're a very beautiful man. I admire you physically. But, no homo. No homo. No homo. I did have a question. Something I don't find very interesting about you, something I find kind of repulsive, is that I believe you said that the Civil Rights Act was bad and that we shouldn't have that.
Okay, well...
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't like you as much as Charlie, though.
First of all, what's your name?
Sorry. I don't want to be, like, filmed and stuff.
Too late.
I'm anonymous, number one. Anonymous guy.
Okay. Well, hello. Nice to meet you, anonymous guy.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah, I believe in part of the essence of the Civil Rights Act went way too far, way too wide.
Oh, how did it go too far?
Well, for example, it created an entire civil rights leviathan that gave us affirmative action.
Civil rights leviathan? What do you mean?
Yeah, so if you can let me finish three words in.
Sorry.
It allowed the Department of Justice to go after people that have different skin color, a.k.a. white people, and prevent them from getting jobs in college admissions.
You have a job.
I'm sorry?
You have a job.
No, you're right, I do, right. But just until Trump came around, until the Supreme Court decision, thanks to the Civil Rights Act, if you have white skin color, it's much harder to get into a college than if someone has black skin color, much harder. You have to get higher test scores. It's a much harder pool, largely thanks to the precedent set by the Civil Rights Act, not to mention all the trans stuff, and they use the Civil Rights Act to justify it.
Okay, I think I see where you're coming from. So you think that it's harder for white people because black people they could have lower tech scores again?
It's not what I think. It's the fact.
That's what you're saying. Okay. All right. Well, I guess what I would say too. I think perhaps you're familiar with the term equity, right? Where different people have different circumstances.
It's Marxism. I reject.
Okay. Well, whether you reject it or not, I think it's a prescient concept in this argument. Because what you have to understand is that when for example, you're born in like a black neighborhood, you're born in like O Block or something, like a very, like a. Oh, you don't know what O Block is? Oh, well, if you're born there, if you're born in a very poor area like that, with like very low economic opportunity, very, very poor schools or very low ratings, where the average test score is much lower, when you're in that environment, you have the whole system up against you, right? So when you say in that kind of circumstance, when you're facing the whole, I guess, leviathan of systemic racism.
So, a couple of things here, all right? First of all, affirmative action, all the like, it is racism, as are these DEI policies that we see all over corporate America, okay? And at the end of the day, here's the real irony. Those policies, DEI, for example, where they say we need less white men here, we got to have this quota for black people, women, both, whatever. That's actually a blatant violation of the Civil Rights Act. Yet, they just get away with it. Think about it. When's the last time you heard about a major company paying or, getting in trouble for some kind of lawsuit because they were going against white people? You haven't heard of it because it doesn't exist. Or if it does, it's in such a small scale, it doesn't even matter anyways. All right, at the end of the day, the Civil Rights Act is just used as a leftist tool, even when it would align with the interests of, I don't even want to say conservatives, but people who just believe in a decent society that treats people by their merits rather than color of their skin. Think about that for a second. It has been a disaster, the Civil Rights Act, and it's very obvious to anybody who's actually paying attention and thinking about it.
So would you say that? Sorry, let me just finish. When you say it's fair to, for example, lower the standard because knowing that their circumstances were like that, perhaps based on what they had, what was presented to them, they had the correct amount of merit to get into a school.
Okay, so are you a student here? I'm guessing you are.
Oh, yeah, I'm a student here.
Are you a pretty good student?
Oh, yeah, I would say I'm a good student. I have a pretty high GPA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you give your GPA to her because she's a woman of color, please?
Oh, well, you want me to give you a... Well, I mean, I can.
Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, sure.
You cool with that?
Yeah, I'm fine. Wait, you mean...
I want you...
Like, tell her or, like, give it to her?
By force.
Like, we're swapping it.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do. By force, white man.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to take your GPA. I'm going to give it to a woman of color.
Okay.
You're cool with that?
I mean, yeah, I can just work back up. Like,
there's no working back up.
I can pull myself up by my bootstraps.
No, there's no working back up.
What do you mean you can't work back up? That's the whole point of conservatism, isn't it?
I'm going to keep on taking it from you because that's equity. And you're cool with that.
What? But that's not
This is equity in practice.
Equity isn't taking. Equity is applying the equal standard.
If you give, how do you get? You must take, and then you give.
Wait, what do you mean?
That which is given must first be taken.
Well, what's being taken?
Well, in this case, grades from you to grades
But
to her.
no one's taking my grades though. That's not what affirmative
it's
action
called,
is.
well, hold on a
no
second.
one takes your grades.
Hold on a second. If you only have so many, you only have so many positions at University of South Florida to come in, right? There's a set number. Let's say it's 20,000 people, okay? And we're gonna say we're gonna lower the test standards so that somebody that's a woman of color can come in, and therefore it's harder for you. So it's a higher bar for you, lower bar for them. Definitionally, that's a redistribution of test scores to somebody else, just by the definition. And you're okay?
Exactly. And notice, he actually told a bold-faced lie right there. Did you notice it? It's a little hard to catch because, the guy's talking so quickly and is all over the place. But he very notably says that all equity is equal opportunity. That's totally false. Equity, in fact, is an equality of outcome, all right? It's basically saying you got two people who are watching the game, right? One's tall, the other one's short, and they say, hey, we got to make you guys equal. We're going to chop this guy's legs off real quick and equal it out. And then the short guy gets hired anyways with the tall guy. Get it? That's what equity is, right? It is not equality of opportunity. That is actually what conservatives have been advocating for the whole time, is say, hey, as long as you can do the job and you do it the best, you get it. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what you eat, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you get the idea.
Okay with that?
Well, I guess I would ask then, if we were to do what you're doing, I guess that's what's happening under Trump, right?
Well, no, it's actually been happening the last 40 years.
Okay, actually, yeah, whatever. Okay, so when you say that, if you do that, then, well, black people aren't going to get into school, and then they won't be able to uplift themselves, they won't be able to have prosperous families, they won't be able to, equalize the economic status, because you need to give them a little jump start. You know what? You have a car, right?
How is that? Well, no, now I know who you are.
No, it's good.
But no, how has that worked the last 40 years? We've had robust affirmative action.
No.
We've had hiring practices. Has it made black America more successful?
I can answer that easily. It's because sorry. It's because sorry. What am I going for?
I don't know.
You're a funny guy. So what happened is, even after the Civil Rights Act, you know what I believe the term is massive resistance. It was a movement in after the Brown versus Board of Education in Virginia, where essentially the legislature, which was still white supremacist, which is still extremely racist, they decided that no, we're going to do everything that feasibly possible within our means to stop black people from going to white schools. You even see this in I believe it was the Little Rock Nine, right? Even after it was legalized at the state level, white supremacist mobs still mobilized to prevent it. So even if it de facto it's gone,
Little Rock 9 is such a poor example for this guy to use, all right? Let's not forget that in modern day America, the segregationists, aka the Democrats, have black-only dormitories and black-only graduation ceremonies, okay? They do that constantly. Just imagine that if there's a white-only ceremony. I hate saying that because it's such a repeated term, but it nonetheless remains true. Now, in the case of Little Rock 9, again, terrible example, all right? This was Democrat segregationists who were upset about it, if anybody was. All right, the governor of that state at the time in Arkansas, he won by over 60 to 30% compared to the Republican during that Little Rock 9 incident, okay? In other words, guess what? It was a Democrat-run state. They were the segregationists, and you're sitting here arguing against conservatives? None of it makes sense. None of it makes sense.
It still exists.
Let me ask you a very simple question.
Yeah.
A term you keep on throwing around.
Got you.
What is racism?
What is racism? Ooh, that's a very complicated question. But
no, it's not.
I mean, there's a simple answer, and then there's the highly theoretical answer.
Give me the simple.
The simple answer will essentially be because we have like different skin colors, that he's treated a different way than me. He has like a different upbringing than me.
No. But what is racism in practice?
It's discrimination.
Based on the color of the skin.
Based on the color of the skin, yeah.
Got it, thank you. So isn't it racist then to penalize white people to come into college or to get jobs based on the color of their skin?
Well, no.
Wouldn't that be racist? So you're arguing for a very racist policy, which is that we should actively discriminate against people based on the color of their skin, which is affirmative action and DEI in practice.
I just disagree with the premise that you can do like anti-white racism because
Wait, can you be racist against white people?
No, bro, I'm a cracker, bro. What the f? No, you can't be racist towards white. Bro, there's so many crackers here, bro. There's your clip, bro. There's your clip.
We got a comedian over here. Not funny at all, but we got a comedian.
Well, what are you gonna do political violence to me, bro? Like, why are you saying that to me? You're making me scared. Okay.
So let me tell you what we believe, because you tell us what you believe.
Okay.
Your worldview is indistinguishable from the KKK. That you want that you want to organize the world based on skin color. We want to organize the world based on merit and character, based on how hard you work, what you bring to the table. I believe it's destructive and wrong to say that people are going to be organized or have their future set based on the color of their skin. I think it's tribalistic. I think it is divisive, and I think it hurts the excellence of a country. You asked a question, well, how are we going to help other communities? You know how you help other communities? Stop pandering to them and start treating them like individuals made in the image of God, not tribes to be organized for political purposes.
Amen. Charlie Kirk dropping the facts yet again, and that kid had no idea what to say. Sorry, anonymous guy, but it's over for you, buddy. Rough. With all that being said, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for tuning in. As always, guys, comment below, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you all again soon. God bless.